Why are there 3 billets when a girth only has 2 buckles? Maz is here to, well, help us out. So first, we want to make sure that we have a properly fitting saddle. And we don't want to have our saddle too far forward because that'll create really bad pressure points in really bad places. And if it's too far back, we'll also create lower back pain. So it's very important that our saddle is in the proper space where it's supposed to actually sit. One way to do that is to just push the saddle lightly back until the saddle does not move any further, as you can see right here. So this is the proper placement for this saddle. Yay! Step 2. We want to make sure that you have good billets to work with. If they're cracked or damaged, then that could be really bad. Another important thing that I like to look for when I put my saddle on is if my billets are pointed straight down. Some people like to say that this middle one is an emergency. It's not. Surprise. There is actually a really good reason for it to be there, and it's all about girth placement. So let's grab our girth and test the placement of which billets we should actually use. So I typically on this mirror will use the 2 outer billets, and it allows my girth to lay nice and flat in the direction where my billets are going, which is straight up and down, just like this. And I typically will leave this middle one alone. A lot of people will say that it is an emergency, and it actually is. You are right. It is a good emergency billet to have, especially if you're out on trail and maybe one of your billets breaks. So you still have a third one just in case. So this is a great placement for the saddle on this horse. Our girth is straight up and down. However, let's say you have a horse that has withers that are set further back and you need to create a little bit more room for your withers. Then you might want to place your buckles on the front 2 billets. This way your saddle will fit further back and you won't necessarily interfere with the elbow. If I put it on the front 2 on this horse, then I could create a lot of red marks on the elbow area. If I were to use the back 2 billets on this horse, it may push my saddle too far forward into the withers and create some pain in the wither area. And then also my girth might sit kind of too far back on the belly, and that could be a little bit uncomfortable. It may be hard to notice the difference, so let's take a look at some side-by-sides. Looking side by side, if you look here, you'll notice a significant difference between the 2 placements of the girths. If it's too close to the elbow, you can create a whole bunch of rub marks. And if it's too far away, then it might actually push your saddle into the withers and cause a whole bunch of wither pain. So super important to have the right amount of clearance.